Jingle bells, Foley smells, and Randy ran away. It's time for the review of War Games. Here we go.
People have been asking me, why, Eddie, why?
I'm better than you.
My eyes are red. I was in the back smoking a joint with Van Dam.
You know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm your boy Stevie Jobber,
I'm your boy, Dangerous Duke.
and welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, putting wrestling over one podcast at a time.
Bang, bang.
And fortunate for you, Duke, but it is cold down here in Philly, and it is feeling like tis the season for War Games.
That it is.
Much like it is down here in Philly, a cold, unforgiving, 2-ring wide steel cage that men and women were wrapped in this weekend, and we talk about it all and everything in between. Let's start with the women's War Games.
Mm-hmm.
Not my highest point of the night, but let's do a quick run through. One side, Team Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bailey, Naomi, and Io Sky against Team, I believe, Nia,
Mm-hmm.
with Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, Raquel Gonzalez, Raquel Rodriguez, name change, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Long story short, great many spots as there is in every War Games, but Team Rhea comes out on top. How did you feel about the match? Yeah, I'm gonna leave my comments for the end. How did you feel about the women's War Games match this year?
The women's War Games match for me, there were some highs and there were some lows, and I'll tell you why. The highs were obviously, the high spots of the match. You had the swanton off of one side from Tiffany Stratton, and then you had the moonsault with the trash can that we all love from Io Sky. Couple hiccups throughout the match, Io and Candice with a little bit of a miscue on that sunset flip power bomb that wasn't a power bomb, and then Nia with the chair just looked really weird. When it came to her hitting Naomi and Bailey, the chair shots look worse than Hulk Hogan chair shots. I don't know if there was a miscommunication on that or if there was that's just how she swings the chair. All things considered, not a terrible match. There was some moments that I really enjoyed. So highs and lows for me. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Highs and lows. Take the victories where you can get them.
That's a positive way to spin it. I like your positive take. I don't feel great about it, and I don't know if I'm being extra hard because I didn't feel great about the build.
Mm-hmm.
But it just looked a little muddy.
Yeah.
In places. Some of it you suspect while we're still doing some of the women's firsts, even though I felt like there was a lot of vets in there. Some things just didn't land as well as they could, and some spots just didn't get off like they should. And sometimes it felt like everyone was doing too much at once, even though I get that it's a War Games and everyone has to be doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Those things aside, and I got to tell you, I got word from, my wise man. My dad has been watching this longer than me. He texted me saying that no more chairs for the women. They're afraid of them. That's his comment, not mine. But you already made a comment about the chairs. Some of the chair spots just did not look great. There was a lot of spots that just didn't look great. And while everything is going like it's going and nothing's looking that great, everything's looking kind of muddy and fumbled together. And I just don't. it's a rare miss for me.
They had good
Feels
intentions.
like a rare miss. Like the way you approached it, I could definitely see it that way too. But today, I'm gonna choose the creative criticism, and it just felt very sloppy this year.
That's that's
The
fair.
whole deal. Um, that being said, I guess the right people won. In the end, to me, it feels like a pointless match. Um, but they did have great spots. You know, they did pull out a lot of weapons. They did put people through a table. Like I don't want to cut them short. I had more of an expectation
It
because of
it,
the
it
War
fell short of the
Games
mark.
match. Yes, because of the benchmark of the War Games match, this fell short for me in build and in match quality. Not to say they got off, just to say it wasn't as pristine as one would have liked it to be.
Yeah, it wasn't as well executed.
Moving on to something that I felt went brilliantly. Brilliantly. I am so excited for this. And again, I'm so upset at the way things were shaking out for AJ Styles because it is a wonder where he would get into mix of all of these friends and foes here now doing things that I feel like he would have been to at a level. Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight for the United States Championship.
Yeah.
Nakamura coming out with an amazing entrance, an amazing costume, an amazing new song, amazing makeup, like everything about it was fantastic to me. You know, LA Knight came out with this LA Knight pop, and I'm gonna let it circle back to me. Needless to say, I thought they had a great match. I thought Shinsuke looked great. I think LA Knight looked as good as he could have dropping the title to Shinsuke. But we had already called this in the predictions. The right man won. With
Yes.
all the hype Shinsuke got that you could just feel from the entrance alone, this should have went
Hmm.
his way. And it did, and it was about time. It didn't feel it didn't feel like the hype was short. It didn't feel like it needed any hype. It didn't feel undeserved. It felt very much about time.
Yeah. From going from something that wasn't executed very well to something that they executed perfectly. I think the right man won, like you said. We called this. I called this within like my first sentence of you telling me what the match was. Um, I have no complaints. I love the way they're doing Nakamura right now. LA Knight had a very solid run with the title, defended it multiple times, which is what you want in a title reign. Um, did the title justice, served his purpose with it, and then it went off to the next guy. And I think hopefully they can build this very well with Nakamura and lead him into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no complaints. They executed it very well. The match was good. Very, very, very happy with the outcome of this result.
I have nothing but good things to say. The mask was perfect. The entrance is perfect. He's gonna look so good with the belt. I'm so excited to see what a Nakamura given a proper look as a proper Nakamura as a force is not gimmicky as purely who he is and treated as the big deal that he is.
Mm-hmm.
What was next? I'm not in any rush to see somebody come to see LA Knight come take it back. At this point, like I just want a long reign.
Yeah.
I just want whatever happens next to be important because just upon the entrance alone, again, he's reestablished himself as a big deal. All you really need for Nakamura to feel like a big deal is to have Nakamura just be treated like a big deal. Just give him a
Basically.
spotlight, play his music, and let him show you
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big deal. Do you hear the response? Do you hear the music? Do you see the how much we put in this? I'm a big deal. You don't have to think it. You can see it. You can feel it. Not to say that LA Knight doesn't have all those things, but I have so many nitpicky things about LA Knight as he's continued to be champ that are just it just feels like Nakamura.
Yeah,
It's just Nakamura's time
it
to
was
spit
time.
to Nakamura. And if I can say anything, my biggest pet peeve before we leave this, stop doing that freaking jumping suplex spot. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop doing that stupid spot into the corner. I'm so sick of it because there's so many moves like for as pristine and clean as everybody is today. I get that mistakes happen in the ring, but don't make a signature move something you don't always hit.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's big, I wouldn't be upset about it if you didn't do it every big match. You always miss this spot.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you make it a majority of the time, but on the matches that matter that I really be paying attention to, you miss that spot a lot. And
Yeah.
it gets really frustrating when you ruin a perfectly good match with that stupid spot. And I gotta worry every time you do it if you're gonna hit it right.
Oh no,
It
oh no, oh
takes
no.
away. Just it ruins momentum, and then you got to come up with something on this. And I'm tired of watching people improvise because you missed the spot that you should always hit. It's so stupid. I'd have took the butt off you just for that, and you dropped the title on the intro. All right. Let me stop going in on that late night. Let me stop.
Started going after him straight for the collar.
It's just the little things sometimes. It's just the little things.
That's okay.
Moving on from one mid card title to another mid card title. The IC Championship triple threat match. Uh, all these guys are on go. All these guys know how to do what they do to the best of their ability. Braun Breaker, the IC champ. Sheamus, veteran. Ludwig Kaiser, up and coming. Always sharp. Always on point. What did you think of the match? I thought they did a spectacular job given their situation, and all three of them know how to perform. I do want more from Ludwig Kaiser. Um, I do hate that they have to do this with Sheamus again. It looks like a third time, but I think everyone did their part, and Braun continued to look as strong as he possibly can.
I think they did great. I mean, considering how quick the build to this match was and the style
Mhm.
of the match that they had, I feel like the three of them gelled very well. Now, again, like you said, I do feel bad that we're gonna have to go through this with Sheamus. Feel like it feels like a broken record at this point. I think this is what he's been relegated to, just being the guy who loses in the mid card title picture constantly, which is a mighty fall from grace considering his resume. But I like the match. They did very well. I do want to see more from Ludwig. I think Ludwig could be a big potential player going forward in the mid card division, being an IC champion or a US champion, wherever the dominoes may fall. So I'm interested to see what comes of this from him, where he goes going forward. And Braun looked like Braun. He did what he does, what he's great at, and he did Braun things.
Um, just to piggyback, and then I'll leave it. One more thing for Sheamus, exactly what you said. It feels a little disappointed that he's been relegated to this role. I thought for a minute he had put himself in this weird gimmicky box with the banger after banger after banger thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then after he got his like old song back, which was only for like a second, I guess, um, and he kind of switched it from "Are you ready for a banger?" I thought, no, maybe we have the potential to take this somewhere, especially since they were letting him beat Pete Dunne, they were letting him beat Ludwig. I thought, all right, maybe this is actually going to pay off for once.
And then not
And
really.
it doesn't seem to be the case. We got short sold so he could be the fall guy again. But so yeah, it's weird. It's weird that Sheamus is back in that position after seemingly getting out of the hole that they dug him in. And as far as Ludwig, again, I think it'd be probably best to have this arc end with him being IC champion while Gunther is still champion, just so he
Mm-hmm.
can establish his independence, kind of like Jay did with the IC title, even though he didn't hold it long. I think it might be a
Mm-hmm.
symbol of like making it to the top of the mountain to achieve the IC title now. Like now it's probably back to the same prestige thanks to Gunther. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks to Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Gunther in the World Heavyweight Championship match. This was an odd case for me. Because I won't say it's one of the greatest builds, but I like the build that they have with Gunther and Damien. I like the idea of Damien seeing the fear in Gunther and Gunther kind of being able to build on his character to kind of give you those facials of maybe he is afraid of, what Damian Priest is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm not sure about how I feel about the match, even though I feel like they gave you a basic play of have a great match. We'll have Finn interject and cost Damien. That way nobody loses really. What are you feeling?
I am sick of this Judgment Day bullcrap. I mean, if Gunther's gonna win, okay, Gunther's gonna win. I wanted Gunther to win. I figured he was gonna win. The right man won anyway.
Mhm.
But interjecting Finn and everything else over and over again, it's like beating a dead horse at this point. I'm tired of seeing Damien go after the Judgment Day. It's like they're trying to drag this out till Mania. Tired of seeing Rhea and Liv do their thing. Hopefully now it's over and done with. Even though I feel like we're getting another one there. I'm just sick of it. It's I love Finn, I love Damien, but the feud itself isn't really hitting for me with them. Because now, what's next for Gunther? Like, is he gonna get Damien again? Is he gonna get Damien and Finn? Are Damien and Finn gonna go after each other, and then Gunther's just gonna sit in the back and wait until they give him a new challenger? Like it raises a lot of red flags for me when you do it this way, and it really makes no sense in my opinion. So
Mhm.
that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah, I'm just about. I mean, let's really go there. Like, I hope this thing between Rhea and Liv is done now that she's definitively won War Games by defeating Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Um, although I fear that's not the case. We're just running in circles, and I think we're all just a little bit tired, a little bit exhausted, a little bit like past it because it seems like you're not going to change the play. Like they don't win. See, this is the problem with, and we said this from the beginning. The problem is going to be that you don't let them win. Finn should be the better man. Finn should be booked as the obstacle to overcome for Damien. You've built Damien, like I get making Damien feel like he can do it on his own and that being his character arc, but it doesn't bode well for the new formation of Judgment Day that they were jobbers beforehand and it was just those two that got over. And the stigma was going to be can they survive on their own and be legitimate? And now somehow, even though they have tag gold and Liv as women's champion, excuse me, it still feels as though they're the losers
Mm-hmm.
and that we were right and Rhea and Damien are the key to that group. But then if we already know that, why are we still doing this? Why can't they just let it go? Like
And
why are we
that's
I
where
don't
I'm
want to
at.
see them get beat again. You know what I mean? If
Mm-hmm.
you're just gonna have them lose again, why are we coming back here? Like that's really the issue we're having on Mondays. That's what's making Mondays a little harder to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You surround the show with people that have already had their characters decided in my head, and you're not doing anything to change it. So like, what are we doing?
Thank you.
Um, but leaving that, and getting to the men's war games, Duke, tell me, what were your thoughts on war games? What were your thoughts on who went first? What the story was? Just overall.
Kudos to the men in this match because I'm pretty sure at least 3 of them are injured after that damn match. The order of how everybody went in, I wasn't really too surprised about Tama being the first man in. Wasn't really surprised about Jay being the first man in. More surprised that he came out after Roman. So that had me thinking that they were expecting a huge pop from him. And then, the match itself, a lot of dynamics that happened. Punk and Roman having their little, not bickering, but their little like, I'm the guy, no, I'm the guy during the match throughout the whole time. And then the spots themselves were great. I like that tsunami splash off the top where Bronson shattered his ankle. And then you got the other one where Jay did his splash and broke his toe. Pretty sure Tom was injured at some point too during the match, but I liked it. I feel like they did very well considering the people that were in there. I know Punk was struggling a little bit on that GTS, but
yeah, he was having some trouble.
But I liked it. I think they did very well. I like the build to it. I'm interested now because I want to see what that favor is. I think I got a good idea on what it is, but only time will tell. But for now, I think they did very well, and I'm interested to see what Friday holds.
Well, I'll toss it back to you for the favor, but yeah, about the same sentiment. I thought they did a much better job than the women did of holding the story through great spots, and I don't know, just great pacing. The stuff with Punk and Roman was great. Sending 5-2 out early after the Usos and made their way down to the ring is kind of the equalizer. Like everything they did story building wise till it started, up to Paul coming down to the ring, pushing them together. I guess what I'm saying is, as much as you liked all the match aspect stuff, which I did too, I thought everything they did in the ring was great, even though they did all really put it on the line. I thought the storytelling of it all was at the exact same par and stayed consistent as the stuff in the ring grew. And it was all, even though there was some spots where, people might have gotten hurt, and you could probably tell the way that everybody kind of moved through it, like they didn't miss a beat, really.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of where they needed to be the whole match. Everyone was given energy from Tom at the start. I love him circling the cage at the beginning. Like, I love them choosing Jay and Tom to start as the right hand versus the right hand, as the two guys that are like looked at as the guys in the group as far as I guess like in-ring veteran technicality, like Tama from the Bullet Club, Jay from the Bloodline is a perfect first two to start. Those are always the two I put together in my head. I loved everything about the build. I loved everything about the story. I loved everything about how they ended it. This was cohesive through and through. This was clearly the best match of the night for me.
Yes.
But get to me about, what do you think the favor is? Because we said what we want about the match, but it was pretty predictable. Aside from the little Roman CM Punk stuff, but I get the little story they had in between that of can I trust you or not. But overall, like, what is this favor? What happens next? Where are we at now?
I think the favor is the one thing that Punk always wanted from way back before he even left the WWE. I think Punk just wants the main event of WrestleMania. And he wants Paul Heyman to get him there by any means necessary.
Are you proposing that if Roman was to make it back to the top of the mountain, that Punk's one favor may be to main event WrestleMania. By that time, should Roman be at the top of the mountain and have it be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns instead of the match we all thought it would be, which was maybe Rock Roman, maybe Cody Roman again? Would it instead be Punk versus Roman with Paul in the middle?
I don't know what the match is going to entail. I don't know if it's going to be Punk versus Roman, if it's going to be Punk versus a champion, Punk versus whoever. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. But I think that favor is going to be for Punk to be in the main event. And somehow, some way, that's going to correlate with the tribal chief Roman Reigns and piss off the tribal chief Roman Reigns. But he's going to have to oblige and allow it to happen in whatever capacity it is.
Would you say he made a deal with the devil?
I would say, yeah, you made a deal with the devil, and that devil's name is Phil Brooks.
I think it's going to pay off. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
I like this underlying level of bringing the wise man back, but not being able to trust him.
Yes.
So I look forward to how that's eventually going to play out again. Any lasting things? So we don't get Cody and KO like we thought. We're getting that it's Saturday night's main event. Is there any more questions you got? Any more stories you got? What do you think is going to happen? Maybe predictions for Saturday night's main event.
Predictions for Saturday night's main event. Kevin is going to do some despicable things, and Cody is going to do some even more despicable things.
Do you think there's a chance? Do you think there's a chance Kevin walks away champ?
No.
No?
Close, but no. I mean,
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't necessarily be upset about it either, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't know. I think it creates an interesting angle.
It does.
Because for a show that hasn't been around for years, that they're trying to make important again. And to have a match of such importance on that show that's been very hush, that feels very, is this real? Is this not? Like they're trying to blend the lines of kayfabe, feeling very old school storytelling. I don't know. It could be creating a moment to have Kevin, be the guy with all the controversy to win the belt from Cody Rhodes in a way that's not really, respectable or in ring or in front of the people or, for all the, with all the glitz and the glamour and the storytelling. It's more like, I don't know, like he's somebody that got away.
Yeah, and
that cheated the system.
And again, I wouldn't even be surprised if that's the case, because Kevin could win, and if Kevin wins, it would be great because heel Kevin as a champion is money. And I feel like we've had the babyface Cody for so long, and that might even make Cody a little more darker. So only time will tell, but I don't think they're gonna have the guts to pull the trigger on it.
I'll say this: your theory of Punk's favor, with my theory of that being via Roman Reigns, and the theory of Kevin possibly becoming champion. I think all of these things could work in tandem. Cody getting an edgier character. Kevin Owens stealing a WrestleMania worthy, title change at a Saturday night's main event, putting Saturday night's main event on the map. Because if you didn't see it, now you're really upset you didn't see it. Because there was a moment had in that place at that time live and you missed it. Kevin Owens, the guy that they shunned away, the guy they didn't want on TV, going in and stealing the guy that, is their guy, is the company guy,
Yep.
and taking the world title from him and being like an uber bad guy in this reality breaking era. Just long enough for Roman, the industry plant, getting I mean, for real though, the guy from the beginning to take that title back, and then on the cusp of whatever it could be, having the original Cody Rhodes, I mean, not the original CM Punk, the original, guy they didn't want, the original guy that broke the mold, cashing in on his favor to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Just speculation, guys, but I don't know. All those things could work in tandem if we're fantasy, but if we're speculating wildly.
But it could work.
That's something to say.
Could definitely work.
Could definitely work. If you guys could do me a favor, if you're watching this, if you could just see if that little icon that probably looks like a thumb button works, if you click on it and see if maybe it'll fill up, or so. I just want to double check that it works. And maybe the subscribe button too while you're at it. Maybe even the link that could be in the description of wherever you're listening to this. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you felt the way we feel, or if you didn't, I hope you can leave it in the comments and reach out to us and let us know, and follow us on all the stuff if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed a certain segment, clips, something else from this. If you've been here this long, I guess we're friends now. Like, I don't want you to, leave without leaving me some sort of way to get back to you. That's really what it is at the end of the day, man. I've been Stevie Jobber.
I've been Dangerous Duke.
And this has been our review of War Games. Thank you all for joining us. Please stay up, stay blessed, and Duke, as always,
stay dangerous.
People have been asking me, why, Eddie, why?